So what I have here on my workbench today is the brand new Ready Fighter Loki Tactical Uncle Gazpacho slides for a Tokyo Marui Glock 18c. And these slides are probably one of the coolest slides that I've ever seen for Airsoft. The detailing and the machine work is phenomenal, especially on the enhanced forward and rear cocking serrations, which are really deep. And it also complements the aggressive styling at the front of the slide that looks a little bit like an LVOA from Warsport. The slide also features a few relief cuts and window cuts on the left, right, and also on the top of the slide to reduce the weight and let the slide track a little bit faster. And to top it off, Ready Fighter actually took the time to replicate the Loki Tactical armor cover plate. And I'm not entirely sure how this is made, but there is a little bit of CNC work on it. But it fits perfectly fine onto the armor slot with zero wobble, and surprisingly, there's no daylight or any gap in between the slide and the cover plate. So the fitment on this thing is really, really nice. And here you have a few color options. Ready Fighter actually produces the Uncle Gazpacho slides in a black color, a bronze color, as well as a silver color, a silver matte finish. The silver one is a limited edition item and it's apparently very rare, but I'm not into the silver one, so I decided to get the black and the bronze color Loki slide. And all these slides, they retail for 900 Hong Kong dollars, which translates to roughly around 110 US dollars, making these slides one of the most affordable armor slides in the airsoft market. But here's the reason why these armor slides are so affordable. So what the package comes with is that it comes with the slide, of course. It comes with the armor cover plate, like I mentioned earlier. It also comes with a bag of screws. There's 4 screws in here. 2 screws are for the short ones are for the armor cover plate. The longer screws are for an armor. The size of these screws are M2.5 by 6. Ready Fighter strongly advises you to use the screws that they provide, is because if you use any screw that is thicker, or if you attempt to rethread the post for the screws, you may snap the post, just like what happens on the Guns Modify. Some of you may know this already, but on some of the RMR slides, if you weave them or thread them for a thicker screw, like an Imperial screw, that's bigger than the original metric threads over here, you may snap the post. So please be very careful. And the last batch of stuff that it comes with is that it comes with an extractor, a front slide reinforcement, which fits at the front of the slide. It basically prevents the slide from slamming into the chassis of your Glock, which can damage the slide over time. That's the reason why they give you a front slide reinforcement. The Tokyo Marui plastic slide, as well as the WE slide, they actually have a reinforcement at the front. The WE one has a blue color reinforcement. And the last part that comes with the kit is a Glock 18 disconnector. That disconnector is only for, you can only use it on a Tokyo Marui Glock 18 blowback housing unit. It cannot be used with any other blowback housing units. It can only be used with a Tokyo Marui Glock 18 spec blowback housing unit. There's no other choices, like Stark Arms and anything like that. Those are not options, because those are completely different systems. Otherwise, the slide does not come with anything else. It does not come with an outer barrel. It does not come with an RMR blowback housing unit. It doesn't come with a Glock 18 blowback housing unit. It doesn't come with sights. It doesn't come with an RMR. You have to get all those yourself. In many ways, this is sort of a good idea, is because since the slide is so cheap at 900 Hong Kong dollars, you can use the rest of your money to purchase any externals that you want to customize the look of this. For example, in my case, on my WE Glock 17 Generation 4, what I decided to do was that I decided to fork out a little bit more money to purchase an RWA Agency Arms outer barrel, which is made of steel. And this barrel really complements the look of the Loki Tactical slide, is because you can see the fluting inside the window cuts. The chamber looks very cool, very stylish, and also the front of the outer barrel is also crowned very uniquely, so it looks very cool when you have it paired with the Loki slide. Yes, I know there's no such thing as the word uniquely. Just a random word that I made up. Anyways, what else did I do to this? So I also purchased a very cheap RMR. This is a China-made RMR that only retails for about 200 Hong Kong dollars. However, there's only one adjustment setting. These buttons are just dummy buttons. They only have one adjustment setting. And also, you have to grind this RMR in order for this to grind away some metal in order for this to fit into any RMR slide. This RMR does not fit on a Guns Modify slide. It does not fit on an Ace 1 Arm slide. It does not fit on Prime. And it does not fit on this one either. I actually had to grind away quite a lot of metal in order to fit this RMR. That's the reason why this is so cheap. I think it's because they made it off spec. And the last thing that I decided to cheap out on was that I decided to swap over my Tritium Sights over from my Ace 1 Arms RMR. These are actually replicas of the Trijicon Suppressor sights, and they actually glow in the dark, so this is pretty cool. And the reason why I wanted all this stuff is because I really wanted this to look like a concealed carry RMR Glock 17 build. That's the reason why I decided to go for this. The one thing that I did not do is that I did not do the Ken Kramer style stippling, which I have not figured out how to do yet. I'm currently making a tip so that I can do the stippling, but for now, I will just leave it as a Generation 4 frame. And the last few things that I did was that I added some Guns Modify pins. That's the reason why the frame looks like an aftermarket frame, is because I just drilled out some holes to install the Guns Modify steel dummy pins to make it look a little bit nicer. I also have a Ready Fighter SSVI trigger. This trigger does need a little bit of fitment on a WE, but after I fit it, it works perfectly fine. And the reset is actually quite crisp. I had to do a little bit of trigger work. Like I said, this trigger was not a drop-in for me, but not a big deal. These are just mostly parts that are not really related to the slide. But this is how I decided to build mine. I think it's pretty cool looking. The slide, of course, makes the gun in many of our cases. So the first thing that I changed on the frame was just mainly the trigger. And I also installed a Zero Hammer. This Zero Hammer is using one of the updated, I'm gonna call it Generation 7. Guns Modify does not call it that, but I'm going to call it a Generation 7, is because they're now using a larger rotor on their hammer. I'm not gonna talk too much about that, is because I'm still experimenting with this hammer. For now, I don't really trust it since the rotor is made of aluminum. Regardless of whether or not it is made of 70-something aluminum, I'm still skeptical of it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the slide. So in order for me to save a bit of money, many years ago I got a Guns Modify kit, and it came with a Glock 17 RMR bullet housing unit and a Glock 18 bullet housing unit. I decided to take the Glock 17 one and slap it over in here. As you can see the Guns Modify Glock plate. This is a movable plate. Notice that there's actually a bit of play. It actually wobbles on the slide a bit. Guns Modify stuff tends to be a little bit loose, so that's just the way it is. And afterwards, I just took the blowback housing unit, did a bit of an IPSC mod over here to the bump so that it can smooth it, so I can smooth out the action a little bit to just make it move a little bit faster. And that's about it. The nozzle is a stock Tokyo Marui Glock 18 nozzle with the WE rocket valve and WE rocket valve spring. It's also using a stock Tokyo Marui Glock 18 rocket valve locker. That's it. That's all I did. This is just a budget build, mostly just to get it to work, mostly just to have a little bit of fun building a Glock 17 Loki tactical slide, which is pretty cool. Right, I think this build actually looks one of the better looking RMR Glocks that I own. Anyways, so let's test fire this thing with a Tokyo Marui Mag. And the reason why I'm using this is because it has a curved bucking. The nozzle is also a curved bucking, curved nozzle window. If you want to enhance the air seal between the nozzle window and your magazine, you can do that if you want. I opted not to do that just because, as you can tell from the internals, this is a budget build. Okay. Sorry, I don't have much gas here because I haven't been gaming for a while, but otherwise that's more or less it. And also, I don't really want to scratch my outer barrel. is because it is getting roughed up a bit. I'm not entirely sure if I want to use this actually in a game yet, is because I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to upgrade this a little bit further. I actually really want to build the tan slide more, is because the tan slide, I have a tan RMR. So what I really want to do is I want to build a very pimped out looking tan Glock, built and short stroked. So that's probably going to be my gaming Glock, this one. For this one, I might just keep in my collection, is because I really like the RMR Glock 17 concealed carry builds. So this is probably going to be added to my collection. Now, as for the other pistol that I'm building, which is also from Ready Fighter, this is also another Ready Fighter slide. This is their Fowler Industries Mark II in tan. This frame I need to redo because the stippling on the frame is not correct. This is just me experimenting with different patterns just to see what it feels like. So far, I think I figured out the pattern. I also figured out how to do his kind of style of stippling. So the Fowler Industries slide will have to wait a little bit longer, is because I need to make the frame. But otherwise, it actually works. This is with a stock recoil spring, by the way. So that's the reason why it's a little bit soft. So I'm going to let the camera die out for a second. Notice how it picked up on speed. It's because it's still using the stock internals. I'm using a stock Tokyo Marui hammer spring, so right off the bat, you're having a bit of an inconsistent cycling issue. It's because you need to make the hammer spring a little harder for you to get a more consistent gas discharge at the first 5 or 10 shots. So I haven't upgraded anything yet, and it works pretty well. Like, other than the cycling, other than the inconsistent cycling right now, which I can easily fix just by bending the hammer spring, otherwise, it fits, it works perfectly fine. As another side note, Ready Fighter tells you to grind away the molding marks that are on the blow-by housing unit, on the stock Tokyo Marui blow-by housing unit. If you do not grind those away, you will damage your slide. So please grind those away. They're just on the left and right sides of your blow-by housing unit. They're the casting marks, and that's it. All you have to do is remove them, and that's about it. Otherwise, nothing else to note. The Fowler Industry build, you guys will have to wait for it. But so far, check the slide out. The tan slide, the bronze slide, and the black RMR plate looks really good with each other, along with the super shiny stainless barrel. I don't know if oh, by the way, many of you guys asked me, will Ready Fighter make a black nitride barrel of this? I honestly don't know. If they do, I really want one. Please send me one. But as of right now, I don't know if they're going to make one. If they do, that would be really cool. I would totally buy that as a separate barrel, just on its own, is because now I know they can make the quality. Right? The quality of the outer barrel is obviously there. So, quite interested in that. Anyways, that's more or less it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. I also have a Facebook page that you can follow me on, in which I'll leave a link in the description box below. If you guys want to support the channel, you can visit my website at raytacticalsolutions.com. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.